American League Headquarters, Chicago, May 20th, 1922. Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Ban Johnson sits in his office, newspapers piled on his desk, everyone with the same headline: Babe Ruth attacks umpire. Ruth suspended again. Johnson is the president. American League founder, in control since 1901, most powerful man in baseball. Nobody defies him, no player, no team, no owner. Until Babe Ruth came along. A knock on the door. Secretary enters. Mr. Ruth is here. Johnson leans back. Send him in. Babe Ruth walks in. Suit, tie, but smile on his face. Disrespectful smile. Someone who does not take Johnson seriously. Johnson does not stand, just points. Sit. Ruth sits, crosses his legs. Comfortable? Not nervous at all. Johnson points to newspapers on desk. 3 days ago, you cursed at Brick Owens, tried climbing into the stands. Almost fought a fan. Security had to stop you. Ruth shrugs. Umpire was blind. I told him the truth. You were suspended, 5 days, $1,000 fine, and this is your final warning. My final warning? Johnson leans forward, eyes hard, voice low, threatening. If you do it again, you will be banned permanently, from baseball, forever. Do you understand? Ruth laughs. Actually laughs. You cannot ban me. Why can I not ban you? Because I am Babe Ruth, and people come to see me. You ban me. Ticket sales drop. You lose money. You cannot do that. Johnson slams fist on desk. I am the American League. You are just a player. I am bigger than you. Ruth stands up, slowly, calmly, but something else in his eyes. You are, right now. But times are changing, Mr. Johnson, and you are a man of the old times. Turns and walks out. Does not even close the door, leaves it open. A message of disrespect. Johnson sits there, angry, helpless. Because Ruth is right, and Johnson knows it. To understand why this moment changed baseball forever, you need to understand who Ban Johnson was. He did not just run the American League, he created it. 1901. Before that, only National League existed. Johnson founded a rival league, made it successful, made it legitimate. By 1903, American League was equal to National League. By 1910, some said it was better. And Ban Johnson controlled everything. He hired umpires. He approved trades. He disciplined players. His word was law. Players feared him. Owners respected him. Managers obeyed him. Johnson was not just an administrator. He was a dictator, a benevolent dictator maybe, but still absolute. When players broke rules, Johnson punished them. Suspensions, fines, sometimes lifetime bans. Nobody challenged his authority. Nobody dared, until Babe Ruth. Ruth arrived in 1914 as a pitcher for Boston Red Sox. Good player, but not special yet. Then 1919 happened. Ruth started hitting home runs, lots of them, 29 in one season. Unheard of. Fans loved it. Attendance doubled. Baseball became exciting again. After the 1919 Black Sox scandal, when 8 Chicago White Sox players were accused of throwing the World Series, baseball needed a hero, needed someone to restore faith, needed someone to make people forget the corruption. Babe Ruth became that hero. 1920. Ruth was sold to New York Yankees, hit 54 home runs, shattered every record, became the most famous athlete in America, maybe the world, bigger than boxers, bigger than politicians, bigger than movie stars. Everyone knew Babe Ruth, and with that fame came power, power that challenged Ban Johnson's authority. Ruth did not respect rules, never did. He drank during Prohibition, gambled, stayed out late, broke team curfews, argued with umpires constantly, got ejected regularly. Most players who acted like this would be destroyed by Johnson, suspended indefinitely, maybe banned. But Ruth was different. Ruth sold tickets. 1920 Yankees attendance, 1.3 million, highest in baseball history. Why? Babe Ruth. Every city wanted to see him. Every stadium sold out when Yankees visited. Ruth was not just a player. He was an economic engine, and that gave him leverage. Leverage no player had ever had before. Ban Johnson understood this, understood that Ruth was too valuable to destroy. But Johnson also believed in authority, believed players must obey, must show respect, must fear consequences. Ruth did neither, and it drove Johnson crazy. By 1922, the conflict was reaching breaking point. Ruth had been suspended multiple times for arguing with umpires, for fighting, for missing team meetings. Each time, Johnson hoped Ruth would learn, would change, would submit to authority. Each time, Ruth came back worse, more defiant, more confident, because Ruth knew something Johnson refused to accept. The power had shifted. Players like Ruth had more value than commissioners, stars were bigger than systems, and no amount of threats would change that. May 17, 1922. Polo Grounds, New York. Yankees playing Washington Senators. Bottom of the fourth inning. Ruth at bat. First pitch, called strike. Ruth disagrees. Turns to umpire Brick Owens. That was outside. Strike one. Second pitch. Low. Ball one. Third pitch. Borderline. Could be strike or ball. Owens calls it. Strike two! Ruth explodes, throws his bat down, walks toward Owens. You are blind. That was a ball. Owens removes his mask. Ruth, get back in the box. Now. Not until you admit you are wrong. I am warning you. Warn me. I am warning you. Learn to call strikes. Owens raises his hand. You are out of the game. Ruth does not leave. Stands there, arguing, cursing, pointing. The crowd is mixed. Some fans love it. Ruth fighting for them. Some fans are shocked. This is disrespectful, dangerous. Yankees manager Miller Huggins runs from dugout, tries to pull Ruth away. Babe, stop. You are making it worse. Ruth pushes him off. Not violently, just dismissively. Then something happens that crosses the line. A fan in the front row starts yelling at Ruth. Sit down, Ruth. You are a bum. Ruth turns, looks at the fan, and starts climbing the railing toward the stands. Security guards rush over, grab Ruth, pull him back. The stadium goes crazy, half cheering, half booing. This is chaos. This is exactly what Ban Johnson hates. Ruth is finally dragged to the clubhouse, ejected, suspended. But before he leaves, he turns to Owens one more time, yells across the field, You will never call another one of my games. Owens just stares, shakes his head. This is unprecedented. No player acts like this. No player gets away with this. Within hours, Ban Johnson hears about it. He is in Chicago, gets a telegram. Ruth ejected again, attacked umpire, tried climbing into stands. Johnson immediately issues suspension, 5 days, $1,000 fine, and a statement to the press. Babe Ruth's behavior is unacceptable. He disrespects the game, disrespects umpires, disrespects authority. This cannot continue. This suspension is a warning. If Mr. Ruth does not change his behavior, more severe consequences will follow. The newspapers love it. Johnson versus Ruth. Commissioner cracks down. Babe faces possible ban. Everyone picks sides. Traditional fans support Johnson. Baseball needs rules, needs discipline, needs respect. Ruth fans support Ruth. Baseball needs excitement, needs personality, needs stars who fight. The debate rages for days. And Ruth does not apologize, does not show remorse, just takes the 5 days off, goes to parties, drinks, enjoys life, makes it clear he does not care about the suspension. This infuriates Johnson even more. So Johnson makes the decision. He will meet with Ruth personally, face to face, make him understand. This is not a game. This is his career, his future, and Ban Johnson controls both. May 20th, 1922. That meeting. Ruth arrives at Johnson's office in Chicago, dressed nicely, suit and tie, but his attitude is wrong. Too casual, too confident, too comfortable. Johnson expected fear, expected humility, expected a player begging for mercy. Instead, Ruth acts like this is just a formality, an inconvenience. Johnson tries to assert dominance, points to the newspapers, lists Ruth's violations, explains the seriousness. Ruth just nods, smiles, does not argue, but does not apologize either. Then Johnson delivers his threat, his final warning. If you do it again, you will be banned permanently from baseball. Forever. Do you understand? And Ruth laughs. Not nervous laughter, not uncomfortable laughter. Genuine amusement, as if the threat is absurd. You cannot ban me, Ruth says. Johnson's face turns red. Why can I not ban you? Because I am Babe Ruth, and people come to see me. You ban me, ticket sales drop, you lose money, you cannot do that. This is the moment Johnson realizes he has lost control, not just of Ruth, of baseball itself. The game has changed, power has shifted, stars are more important than commissioners, economics matter more than authority. Johnson tries one more time, stands up, raises his voice. I am the American League. You are just a player. I am bigger than you. Ruth stands too, calmly, looks Johnson in the eye, and delivers the line that ends the meeting. You are, right now. But times are changing, Mr. Johnson, and you are a man of the old times. Then Ruth walks out. Door left open, ultimate disrespect. Johnson sits back down, stares at the open door. For the first time in 21 years, he feels powerless. If you are fascinated by how one player changed the power structure of an entire sport, make sure to subscribe so you never miss these legendary confrontations. And comment below. Was Ruth right to defy authority, or should he have shown more respect? Let me know. May 25th, 1922, 5 days after the meeting. Ruth's suspension is over. He returns to the Yankees lineup. Game against Washington Senators, Yankee Stadium, 40,000 fans, everyone watching closely. Will Ruth behave? Will he have learned his lesson? First 3 innings pass normally. Ruth plays right field, gets 1 at-bat, grounds out, nothing controversial. Then 4th inning, Ruth batting again. Umpire George Hildebrand behind the plate. First pitch, strike. Hildebrand calls it clearly. Strike 1! Ruth turns slightly, looks at the umpire, says nothing, but his expression says everything. That was not a strike. Second pitch, outside, ball 1, third pitch, high, ball 2, fourth pitch, borderline, on the corner of the plate, could go either way. Hildebrand makes his call. Strike 2! And Ruth snaps. Not as violently as before, but deliberately, intentionally. He throws his bat down, walks toward Hildebrand, points at him. That was outside, Hildebrand immediately signals. You are out of the game. Ruth does not leave, steps closer, yells louder. You are a terrible umpire. Ban Johnson sent you to give me bad calls. The stadium is stunned. 40,000 people cannot believe what they are seeing. Ruth was warned 5 days ago, threatened with permanent ban, and he is doing exactly what he was told not to do. Miller Huggins runs from the dugout. Babe, What are you doing? Stop. Ruth ignores him, focuses on Hildebrand, gets close, very close. Go tell Johnson to ban me. Let us see what happens. Then Ruth turns, walks to the dugout, slowly, defiantly, no rush, no shame, just calm defiance. The crowd is divided, half cheering, half shocked, but everyone understands. This is not about the umpire call. This is about power. This is Ruth challenging Ban Johnson directly, publicly, daring him to follow through on his threat. Within hours, Ban Johnson hears the news. Ruth ejected again. Argued with umpire again. Exactly what Johnson warned him not to do. 5 days ago, in person, face to face, Johnson sits in his office, staring at the telegram. He has a decision to make. The biggest decision of his career. He threatened Ruth with permanent ban. Now Ruth has called his bluff. If Johnson does not ban Ruth, he loses all credibility. Every player will know his threats are empty. Authority collapses. But if Johnson bans Ruth, he loses economically. Yankees lose their star. Attendance drops. Owners lose money. And owners control Johnson's job. It is an impossible choice: enforce authority and destroy the business, or preserve the business and destroy authority. Johnson knows what he should do. Should ban Ruth. Should prove that rules matter. That authority matters, that no player is bigger than the game. But he cannot, because Ruth is bigger than the game, bigger than Johnson, bigger than the American League. So Johnson makes the only choice available. He does nothing. Well, not nothing. He suspends Ruth. 10 days this time. Bigger fine, $2,000. Public statement about unacceptable behavior. But no ban, no permanent consequences, just more temporary punishment. And everyone knows why. Because Ban Johnson cannot afford to ban Babe Ruth. And Ruth knew it all along. The newspapers destroy Johnson. Johnson backs down. Ruth wins power struggle. Commissioner afraid of star player. Every article points out the obvious. Johnson threatened permanent ban. Ruth defied him. Johnson did not follow through. His authority is gone. His threats are meaningless. Baseball has changed. Players have power now. Stars control the game, not commissioners, not league presidents, not anyone. The fans, the money, the attention, all follow the stars. And the biggest star is Babe Ruth. Johnson tries to save face, issues more statements. Suspension is appropriate punishment. Ruth has been disciplined severely. Authority has been maintained. But nobody believes it. Everyone saw what happened. Johnson threatened. Ruth defied. Johnson retreated. That is the truth, and truth does not care about press releases. The other owners notice, Yankees owner Jacob Ruppert particularly. He calls Johnson, not to complain, to educate. Ban, you need to understand something. Ruth is not just a player. He is a business. My business. Yankees' business. Baseball's business. You cannot ban the business. You can regulate it, manage it, control it when possible, but you cannot destroy it, because destroying Ruth destroys all of us. Johnson listens, says nothing, because what can he say? Ruppert is right. The economics are clear. Some Babe Ruth generates more revenue than anyone in baseball history. Banning him would be financial suicide, not just for Yankees, for every team Ruth plays against, for every city he visits, for baseball itself. So Johnson has to accept it, accept that his power is limited, accept that players like Ruth are untouchable, accept that authority means nothing if economics say otherwise. Ruth serves his 10-day suspension, returns to the lineup, and nothing changes. He still argues with umpires, still gets ejected occasionally, still breaks rules, but never crosses the line far enough to force a ban because Ruth is not stupid. He knows exactly how far he can push, knows his value, knows his leverage. He plays the game perfectly. Not baseball, the power game. Other players notice. If Ruth can defy Ban Johnson and survive, maybe they can too. Suddenly, umpire arguments increase. Ejections increase. Players test boundaries. Johnson tries to maintain control. Issues more suspensions, more fines, more warnings. But the precedent is set. If the biggest star cannot be banned, why should lesser players fear it? The discipline structure begins crumbling, not immediately, not obviously, but slowly, steadily, authority eroding day by day. Johnson sees it happening, tries to stop it. But how? He already played his strongest card, permanent ban threat. Ruth called his bluff. Everyone saw Johnson back down. His threats are now empty words. His authority is now illusion. And illusions do not control athletes making thousands of dollars. The next few years prove Ruth right. 1923. Yankees win World Series. Ruth hits .393 with 3 home runs in the series. 1924. Ruth hits .378 with 46 home runs. On 1926, Yankees win World Series again. 1927, Ruth hits 60 home runs, breaks his own record, becomes the most famous athlete on earth. Every year, his value increases, his fame grows, his power expands, and every year, Ban Johnson's authority shrinks. By 1927, Johnson is barely relevant. Owners ignore him, players mock him. The game has passed him by. In 1927, baseball creates a new position, Commissioner of Baseball, Kennesaw Mountain Landis. With authority over both American and National Leagues, Johnson's role is diminished, limited to American League only. And even there, his power is mostly ceremonial. The new commissioner handles major issues. Johnson handles administrative details. The fall from power is complete. And it started with Babe Ruth. Started with that meeting in 1922, when Ruth laughed at Johnson's threat. When Ruth said, "You cannot ban me." When Ruth proved he was right. Years later, in 1931, Ban Johnson retired, forced out by owners who no longer needed him, no longer feared him, no longer respected him. He gave one final interview. Reporter asked about regrets. "Any decisions you wish you made differently?" Johnson paused, thought carefully, then spoke. "I should have banned Babe Ruth in 1922, when I threatened him, when he defied me. I should have followed through, even if it cost money, even if it hurt attendance, because not banning him cost something else. Authority, respect, control, and once you lose those, you lose everything. But if you banned him, baseball would have lost its biggest star." "Baseball would have survived," Johnson said. "It always survives. But the precedent would have been set. Rules matter. Authority matters. Nobody is above the game. Instead, we set a different precedent. Stars are above rules. Money matters more than principle, and that precedent destroyed everything I built." The reporter pressed. "Do you blame Babe Ruth?" Johnson shook his head. "No, I blame myself. Ruth did what any smart person would do. He recognized his power and used it. I recognized his power and feared it. That fear destroyed my authority. I should have acted on principle, not fear. That is my regret." Johnson died in 1931. Ruth played until 1935, finished with 714 home runs, elected to Hall of Fame in 1936. First ballot, unanimous. When Ruth heard about Johnson's death, reporter asked for comment. Ruth thought for a moment. Ban Johnson loved baseball, loved rules, loved order. We did not agree on much. But I respected him. He tried to control me. Failed. But he tried. That takes courage, even if it was misguided courage. The legacy of May 1922 is not just about one suspension. It is about power shift, about how baseball changed from commissioner-controlled to player-controlled, from rule-based to economics-based, from authority-driven to star-driven. Ban Johnson represented the old way: discipline, respect, authority. Players serve the game. Babe Ruth represented the new way: entertainment, money, freedom. Game serves the players. Johnson threatened Ruth with permanent ban. Ruth defied the threat. Johnson backed down. And in that moment, baseball changed forever. Power shifted from offices in Chicago to players on the field, from men in suits to men in uniforms, from administrators to entertainers. Some people think this change was good, made baseball exciting, made players rich, made the game popular. Some people think this change was bad, made players arrogant, made money too important, made discipline impossible. Both sides have valid points, but regardless of opinion, one fact is undeniable. The change happened, and it happened because of Babe Ruth, because he laughed at Ban Johnson's threat, because he said, "You cannot ban me," because he was right. May 20th, 1922, Chicago office. Final warning delivered. Do it again and you are banned forever. 5 days later, Ruth did it again, and he was not banned forever. He was not even banned temporarily in any meaningful way. Just another suspension, another fine, another slap on the wrist. Because Ban Johnson learned something that day. He learned that power is not about titles, not about authority, not about threats. Power is about value. And Babe Ruth had more value than anyone, more value than commissioners, more value than leagues, more value than rules themselves. That is why Johnson could not ban him. That is why Ruth won. That is why baseball changed. Forever.